Norway, and it would literally go anywhere. It's quite exciting driving off the back of an amphibious assault ship with one of these, and you go into the water with the roof closed and everything goes green and dark, and you keep praying that you're going to see light, but eventually you do see light. You come up to the surface and she swims. Absolutely brilliant piece of kit. Next to that in the desert camouflage is the Abbas. This is the as I mentioned earlier, it's a 105mm self-propelled gun. It was phased out of the British Army because NATO decided that the standard calibre would be 155mm, and this gun, of course, is only 105mm. But it's a smashing vehicle, nice to drive. It's a real pleasure to own one of these. As I mentioned, next to it is the T-16, the American-built version of the Universal Carrier. These weren't used really much until the very end of the war. There were quite a lot of them about. You can see on the side of that vehicle it's got little metal plates, and those metal plates were for putting poles, and around those poles they put a screen, a canvas screen, for them to float. I don't know how many times they floated those vehicles, but by the time they went into service, the British Army were already in Western Europe. So if we come down past the US half tracks, we see the Scimitar built by Elvis. This is a light reconnaissance vehicle armed with I can't remember the calibre, 37mm? What's the calibre of the Scimitar? Can't remember. 30mm, thank you. Can't remember every bloody thing, can I? I'm doing my best. They just shoved this microphone in my hand and said, get on with it. So yes, a 30mm Raden cannon. This is the first military vehicle built with health and safety in mind, because the Raden cannon, all of its gases, exhaust gases, and all of the spent cartridge cases are expelled out of the turret, so that you don't have these toxic chemicals inside the turret while the crew's operating it. Next to that we have the Ferret Mark II, armed with this 30 calibre machine gun, a superb reconnaissance vehicle, used by the British Army for about 30 years, and a very popular vehicle because it will fit in most people's garages. Next to the Mark II is the Mark, I can't remember what it is, Mark 1 stroke something or other. This, you'll notice, doesn't have a rotating turret. This has a fixed turret and has a GPMG machine gun up on the top of that turret. These particular turrets were built for Malaya, so we're talking of the Malayan conflict in the 1950s. There's not many of us here can remember the Malayan conflict, but still. And as I say, at the very end, we have the famous T-34-85. These are brutes, believe you me. I just love the things. If you're interested in armour and military vehicles, but armour in particular, you can't help but fall in love with the T-34, although people will say why. But they are absolute brutes. And the nice thing about them is, even if they won't go properly, you can always get a crowbar out, you can open the access door on the back engine deck, stick the crowbar in, jam it into a gear, and if the engine will run, the T-34 will go. And I just love them. And as I say, they will go anywhere. They've got very wide tracks, lovely flotation, big powerful guns, sloping armour so the enemy shells bounce off. Just the kind of thing that